Hello, everybody. I assume it will be mostly Tottenham fans watching this to gloat and comment about how much they enjoyed this game today and how they got their bizarre revenge on Matty Cash. Uh, anyway, hello, welcome to All Villa No Filler. Please like and subscribe. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know who's going to watch this, but I'll carry on with it. Uh, that is probably the worst result of the season. Uh, probably worse than Newcastle opening day of the season. Um, and slightly concerning given that we've had a few games now in this calendar year since January where Chelsea came and put us 3-0 down, within 60 minutes. Newcastle had it 3-0 ahead within 60 minutes. And Man United came and beat us even though we dominated that game. And now Tottenham have just come and battered us 4-0. They are pretty big batterings. And I sort of theorised that the approach Emery took today with sort of a 3-5-2, which looked more like a 5-3-2 for most of the first half, was probably one where and this is just a theory, but it's one where maybe he'd seen the Newcastle and Chelsea games and thought, we'd lost control in those games, and whether maybe Tottenham were a team that could do something quite similar to what they did in that. You think back to the game we won 2-1 at Tottenham's place earlier this season. That first half was, basketball chaos, really, wasn't it? Just back and forth. And, Tottenham really should have scored two or three in that opening 25 minutes, but they didn't take the chances and we punished them for it. I think today we didn't give them any chances whatsoever in the first half. It looked like they were thrown off their game. And, I sort of see what we were doing. We're sort of, not giving them much to work with, make it difficult for them to play through our lines. And it was. And then we would get the ball and try and hit it quick over the top. Ollie Watkins going one-on-one primarily with Sergio Romero. And I thought actually there were occasions where it worked. And I think Watkins, if he'd been a bit more clinical, a little bit better today than he was, we may have actually taken the lead. And also there were occasions where I thought Tottenham played it around at the back and were making some mistakes. They just looked a bit unsettled. But what I would say as well is that I thought Van der Ven, again, every single time I've seen him this season, he's looked to me like somebody who could potentially be the best defender in world football very, very soon, probably destined for Real Madrid. There seems to be a common pathway for Tottenham players, doesn't it? If they're very good. And Pape Sarr as well, another player who just was second half. I thought he was everywhere. Very impressive. What I'd say is first half, I think, all right, the game plan, I think if we'd got a goal, it would have been perfection, really. And at the same time, I think probably Emery was thinking, we did have that Thursday game. Couldn't allow ourselves to, let the game get away from us in the first 20 minutes, not turn into a chaotic battle, because the chances are Tottenham probably would have more energy reserves than Villa later in the game. I'm just trying to theorize why he took the approach he did today. And like I say, first off, I think it kind of worked all right. But something else I would say though was that in that first half, with the press Tottenham had against us, I thought there were moments to me it looked like I think there's a mistake coming with us playing it out from the back today. We got away with it one or two times, particularly when the ball went out to Konsa. But got away with it. All right, that's the risk you take sometimes playing around the back. I'm glad we're a team that does that. Of course I am. Been railing about how great it is that we do that for about more than a year now. But second half, I could not have foreseen that sort of collapse was going to happen. And you have to put it down to two major losses of the head, two moments of immaturity, just madness, really. Tottenham's first goal, it was a brilliant goal. It was a fantastic piece of work from Sarr to get out to the right. And what an amazing ball that was into Maddison. He had nothing to aim at, really, or barely anything to aim at. Brilliant ball from Sarr, and a great piece of positioning from Maddison, who I thought first half, had struggled to impose himself on the game, but he was starting to roam a bit more, and I was starting to fear slightly he was going to do something. And that something came. And, look, you go 1-0 down. All right, keep your cool, you know, work your way back into the game. That's what we can do. And we did it against United recently, 1-0 down against them. We came back to 1-1, even if we lost it. But I mean, for Concert to make the mistake he made, I mean, I talked about the first half. I said if it felt like a mistake was coming in defence, I didn't think it would be in the way it came, in that I thought if it was to come, it'd be that Tottenham had really ferociously pressed us and we'd make a poor pass into centre midfield, or they would just tackle one of our defenders and score. Instead, Konsa had, I mean, hours on the ball. He could have watched the full movie of Titanic. In fact, he probably could have watched all of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and maybe caught one of the Hobbit films in there as well with the amount of time he had on the ball. Just pass it to the keeper or just pass it to Torres, who was there. Quite what he was trying to do. It just looked a bit like there's that fine line between being cool on the ball and then too casual, and it just fell into that casual side, didn't it? He's been fantastic for us this season. It's great that he's back from injury. But that was a really, really uncharacteristically poor mistake from Konsa. And as soon as he made it, you just knew, oh God, they're going to score. And they did. Song passes it to Johnson, goal. And as soon as you're 2-0 down, you just mountains to climb. And you do run the risk of the head going, and it did. John McGinn, of all players, I thought John McGinn was our best player today by quite a distance. Everything he did seemed to be right until the one moment where he got something wrong, and that was he went in too hard for that tackle. And I've seen a lot online saying it's the orangest of orange cards, and yeah, it is the orangest of orange cards. It could have been a booking. The reaction after it was, probably played into the referee's thinking, but I think when I saw it, I thought that it's a stupid challenge. If someone did it to a Villa player, I'd be furious. And I thought, yeah, I could see why the red was given, even if I think it possibly veered slightly more towards a yellow, but it was a stupid challenge and very uncharacteristic of John McGinn. And I think that Ezri Konsa doing that, to McGinn as he was walking away was that's the message you need, isn't it? It was the head went, and now we're losing for 3 games. And Aston Villa have struggled with injuries this season. Well, we've not struggled, but we've had a lot of injuries. It's been very frustrating not being able to play our strongest team pretty much ever this season, and we've done an amazing job so far to be where we are in the league with that injury record. But for McGinn to now miss 3 games through not injury but kind of uncharacteristic stupidity is really big. I think it's hard to feel optimistic and positive about the games that are coming up. With the volume of games we've got coming up, with the quality of the opposition we've got coming, it's hard to feel too optimistic when John McGinn and Boubacar Kamara are both missing in centre midfield. Does Tielemans come back and play there? Will the Robinham now get start games in the Premier League? It might be what has to happen. But I say it's difficult to be positive after that. Certainly Tottenham will be feeling positive. I just can't help but feel they'll go on a run probably now. And they're an inconsistent team. They do seem to concede weird goals, and they can lose randomly. And I think I thought we could have done it today as well with the way we were first half and looking to play them on the break. But overall, at the end of the 90 minutes, you got to say heads went second half with 2 stupid mistakes. And that you could argue the formation didn't really play to our strengths. Had we played our normal formation first half, would things have been different? There's a good chance they might have been. There's a more likelihood they would have scored, but there's also probably more likelihood that we would have scored. But look, at the same time, I do understand why Emery took the approach he did. But I'll be interested to know in post-game reaction what his thoughts are on how things went. But like I say, it's still a long way to go in the season. Tottenham aren't going to win every game. They're going to drop points. And Villa, we've got to raise ourselves for Ajax. this massive home game in the Conference League, a great opportunity to come back and show that we're not, going to just lose our heads, and it's not going to be a repeat of Stoke all the way back in 2008, 2009, whatever year it was. So yeah, but difficult to stay too optimistic and positive after that. But that's what we got to do. Yeah, simple as that. So yeah, it's so frustrating, isn't it? But look, let me know what you thought. Give me your thoughts below. I can't imagine there'll be any positivity whatsoever. Do you think we can bounce back from it? I do think we can, yes. And I think, this season we've had a few big losses, or a few bad losses, and tended to bounce back well from that. We've had three really excellent wins in a row. Fulham away was tough, Forest at home, and then Luton away. That's three very good wins. So just got to do the same. Ajax this Thursday and then West Ham away next week. West Ham also have to play midweek, and they've got a big game against Freiburg that they have to get a win in. So look, they're two teams that will be playing the Thursday night and just have to get the job done next Sunday. So yeah. Anyway, on to Ajax. Is what it is. Terrible loss. Got to learn. Every team has bad losses, don't they? Tottenham had one against Chelsea earlier this season, and they had to fight a way back. We've had bad losses and we came back. Just got to do the same again. Up the mighty Villa.